state of playing with dark magic. I don't know how I lost control or if I even had it. My spirit must have been sitting at the table of life with the Ouija board and called upon something that had bad things in store. To be honest, I think I conjured up the spirit of regret. Because no matter the blackout, I still can't seem to forget. Regret, an entity so strong, it takes lives on an everyday basis. It sits on your soul till eventually you become complacent. Complacent with being used up to your core, to their dysfunction becomes your foundation. My skeletons took up all the space in my closet, so now I gotta split them between the attic and the basement. That's why I stay quiet and remain silent and allow regret to put my body into autopilot and spend days looking in the mirror trying to figure out who that is staring back. Looking at these scars regret left me with. Somebody help me, I'm trapped. I'm trapped in these scars. It feels like I'm behind bars. I want to yell from my cell, I'm innocent, but regret says I took it too far. It saw a pure soul and decided that I was going to be his victim. I love talking black politics, but right now this ain't about the system. This is more about life and the things that are not right. That thing that keep you up late at night and have a 6-hour sleep fight. I'm talking about the universe showing its ugliest form through people. That moment where your mind and body is not separate, but it's unequal. I'm talking about understanding yourself. Understanding sometimes we need help. My voice being heard is a part of this journey that's hard. But once I finally get you to hear me, I can look past these scars.
You would throw me in the air and I'll land front and center on top of the shoulders. I guess you can say that's the way he put me above himself. We will throw rocks at rabid pit bulls that were moronic enough to get in between the king and his offspring. We spent the first 6 years virtually untouched from the world's vindictive gimmicks to take the role, the conquer, the fearlessness and conviction away from the king I called my father. For the next 6 years, I hated the inconsistent hologram that appeared so frequently to a man's soul that was so pure it could have been considered the sixth element. Did you hear about your daddy? He was arrested again. That was the usual bullshit you'll hear before Howard School. But I guess when it comes to killing a boy's father, no one did it better than the old family tree. The in-law man of the family feared his influence because even with ripped jeans, coat worn for 2 weeks straight, knocked out canines, liquor on his breath, he still would bring me a sandwich and chips if I needed it. My uncle said this man was big on education. He probably would have been the first to graduate. But my big sis said my uncle introduced him to his cravings. And my dad said he came from an era where he'd try anything once. At age 16, things got a little bit too real. My pop's imperfections led to his dehumanized state of inflictions, and carrying around the burden of his spotted cheeks, his tough hair, his smart witty tongue, conspiracist mental, and heart of brass led me to many tribulations where spit wasn't the image, blood was the duplicate. 2008. Shook me up so bad from the 211, the 9 was pressed against my skull, and the attachment of death was more realistic than life. If Pops taught me anything, it's how to keep fighting, how to keep pushing, showering me with love when the world can test you, with the evaporation of hate. But like any vessel that God makes, he replenishes with faith.
Crown her glory among thorn roses and concrete thunder, for she has seen the everlasting of wearing old age and confidence. I adorned her smile. The way God danced hands on cheekbones take time. It took time to love you. It took time to praise you for your cracked lip and blemished face, your broad bone and in-between way of living. I remember when I used to breathe the agony of wanting to be wanted for security's sake, the way my body longed for someone to hold my shattered heart and itch. As addicts do in mourning, I mourned for what would never be. Crown her. Holy, 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 righteously unsanctified, hear her conscience scream loud, louder, God, help me from myself in auto catastrophe. Without guilt she weaves trenches into her soul, breaking down all faith that God is. She's learning to tread through obstacles tenfold now. Without those who said she would never be, I reminisce on clenching teeth, wanting more over more, yet being plentiful with dissatisfaction. Jehovah, hear me screaming down those prison walls, waiting for the Most High to loose my body. I am my own savior, loose to me. I said, crown her, still spine. Relentless to bend, don't break, holy bosom, despite what circumstance may yield her from reproducing, she excretes life through her tainted vessel, refusing to drown deep in sorrow. You see that broken, fixed girl in all her glory, with smile gleaming towards heaven's eyes, no longer wailing melancholy song, for she has been molded into vision with the precision of one who remembered to keep her with slight blemish. For every God has battle scars, and wounds remind you of how far you've come, my God, how I've gotten over the need to receive my royalty from anyone other than I will crown me holy, glory, still spine, sacred bosom, broken, fixed, and tainted, pious, placing my righteousness upon myself, I breathe. I breathe life into I for the very first time.
All the strenuous frustrations forced upon the African people day in and day out, I cannot help but think about the end of my life and the beginning of my death. I'll play a game of Russian roulette before I let a European wipe me out, but this blank will not come out. I got a revolver full of rounds and I'm taking shots to the temple, hoping my people will listen and shake their religion. This ignorance will not come out. I'm feeling like I've strained my vocal cords, attempting to speak life and meaning in a meaningless humanity, because lately I've been feeling like I'm in the myth of Sisyphus. Like I'm working towards no goal, and my thoughts are malicious, like the hate is building within me, and my actions are fictitious, and all I can think about is how happy I would be in the land of the dead, when my soul is free, and my extinction is finalized, and I promise you, when my vessel meets its demise, I promise you it'll be by suicide. See, my last meal would be chitterlings and collard greens, so my ancestors didn't poison themselves in vain. I wear, my noose will be made of cotton, so my ancestry didn't work in vain. I wear a hoodie and some J's, so my ignorant brothers didn't die in vain. I have crack in the back and needle in vain, and make sure I'm on Instagram. And on RIP t-shirts made by some crackhead named Sam, and make sure I'm on the news, because that's the place to be. The revolution has to be televised, because niggas love NBC. All I want to do is be free. See, all I want to do is take the chains off. All I want to do is be free. All I want to do is shed the ego. All I want to do is turn I into we. All I want to do is take the chains off. All I want to do is be free. All I want to do is shed the ego. All I want to do is turn I into we. Ubuntu. I am because you are, and you'll never be a star until one dies, so let me sacrifice my life. See, I kill myself because I don't feel myself, because I feel you. See, every step you take, I feel it like the ground you walk on, and I accept that. Every teardrop, I feel it like every teardrop forms a puddle in my soul, and I'll gladly drown, and the sounds will gladly pierce my ears, and I'll rejoice because my soul will finally come out.
I stared at the sky searching for answers amongst the clouds. I identified with them being shaped but not solid, yet still profound in their own right. They were perfectly handcrafted by God, but unsure of their purpose. Sometimes they fade to allow sunshine. Sometimes they hover to prepare for rain. Sometimes I fade to avoid being seen, and sometimes I hover to feel like I belong here. I realize I'm a cloud. So I closed my eyes and cried to the heavens for clarity of my existence. I heard him say, you pray for answers you are not yet ready for. So I opened my eyes, finally realizing I needed to first understand myself. I saw my life in pure last hues from the rainbow my tears had just made. Each color representing a broken piece of me, but each broken piece becoming my poetry. Answers I was not yet ready for were the answers I needed. How ironic that situation so chaotic could form in me a newfound beauty.
Hi everyone. Thank you so much for coming out. This was my presentation of Spilling the Tea, Talking Vessels. This is a senior seminar presentation for all of the graduating seniors. As you can see, we put in a lot of work, a lot of hard work. And all of our pieces represent our self-expression, and we're viewing the world, and we're trying to get you guys to understand that all of us are a part of this change. It takes a village to help each other. Part of my portion is having you all understand that it's important to share your story with everyone that you come in contact with, because we all have the same issues. We all go through the same things. It may be in different ways, but it's exactly the same way. And the only way we can truly revolutionize or liberate each other is by liberating ourselves first. So these people represented, we have Maurice Myers, who spoke in the voice of Existing in Silence, which is a vessel that I created. We had Irv Hunter, who spoke in the voice of Wisdom's Product, which is another vessel that I created. We have Kiara Patterson, who spoke in the voice of Chaotic Beauty. And we have Shaheen, who spoke in the voice of Beautiful Useless. So please feel free to walk around, take business cards. And Timothy, like, spoke in the voice of Adorn. Please feel free to walk around, ask me questions. Everything that I have is for sale, and most of us have things for sale. So please feel free to take business cards, ask questions, and spill some tea on tonight. All right, thank you so much for coming out.